Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to our One Plexus Power Hour. We are actually doing half-hour structures right now, which I think is all good. Get on, get our information and let's get to work. Last Monday of the month, but we get a added bonus this February for leap year, right? So we get an extra day. So we have 29 days this month, which will give us that little bit of an extra push. So coming off of Leaders Retreat, it's always such an amazing thing. One, to just travel. Two, to travel to paradise. Three, to travel with amazing people. And when you are at a place and you know that over 2,000 of the people that are with you with your company, it just makes it just this incredible experience. So, if any of you guys want to share or want to jump on and say something, or if you want to put it in the chat, I would love to just hear. But overall, knowing that this was my 13th leaders retreat, it's just a big belief builder. And I know when I was new, um, gave me that confidence that, okay, I'm not the only person in the world that thinks this is amazing, right? It gives you that little bit of a confidence booster as far as I'm here, I'm building a business. These people are, setting like goals and we are like-minded and that we are growing and learning together. And that was always something I would go home and just be like, okay, I can do this no matter what, Sally from high school thinks, or, whatever the case might be. It really helped me to build confidence. So if you were there, I know that's probably something similar, but does anybody have, something that they want to say or share real quick? I know people are just jumping on.
I will, Sarah. I'll say just a bit.
Okay, good. Awesome, Kim.
Yeah, I never get tired of hearing from our leadership too. When um Alec and Jean take the stage, you can just hear their heart, and they mean it when they say they love us and they want what's best for us. Yes, they have to make business decisions that are good for the company, but the people in the field are such a huge part of their decision making. And every time I hear them speak, I'm like, oh, we could not have better leaders. It just warms my heart.
I love it. And I agree 100%. And being able so convention is so huge and so busy. I think when you get to these, smaller events like Leaders Retreat, it really does give you that sense of being able to communicate with and spend time with and hear from our corporate leadership. And so I think that's absolutely you hit the nail on the head with that for sure. And I will tell you till, the day I die, this is the right company with the right products, with the right leadership. Every company has growing pains. Every company has turnover. But the products that we offer and the culture of the people who are sharing health and happiness, it truly is like no other. And I'm just grateful and so blessed. So I agree with you absolutely 100%. So they kept saying from the stage, Genevieve congratulated everybody. Hey, if you're at Leaders Retreat, you're the top 1%. And I've been thinking about that a lot, because what if you were even just the top 3% or top 10%? I'm always, talking to my boys about striving for excellence and doing your best. And I really have been thinking about, okay, if I want to be in and stay in the top 10%, 3%, 1%, whatever that looks like for goals, anybody who is showing up and showing up consistently, you're already beating, half of the world. But it really brought me back to one of my favorite things that I studied for years ago when I did a talk with John Maxwell. This 15 Laws of Growth is one of my favorite, just in general, life books. And it works really well when you're parenting teenagers or parenting young adults. But this section that I have underlined and asterisked, I kept thinking about, okay, what is it that takes people who want to be successful and aren't? What's different about them than, the people who want to be successful, set goals, and actually take those steps towards achieving those? One of the biggest things I will tell you is the law of trade-offs. And so I'm just going to read like two or three different things from this section of my favorite book. And I really want you guys to be thinking about, I'm going to give you some questions to think about just on your own time, because any of us, when any of us say we want to share, we want to grow, we want to add value, we want to grow our teams, we would like to recruit and all of the things, what it boils down to is the consistency factor of what am I willing to do to get what I want. And a lot of times it's factoring in, one, what do I want? But two, what am I willing to do to get that? And I think I've talked to you, a few of you before, about sometimes there's a disconnect. Like if you're setting goals, or if you're working with a team member to set goals and they're like, I want to be emerald, but I only can give you 5 minutes a week. Like there's a huge gap there, right? So it's like, okay, we either need to bring down your goal, or we need to increase the activity and the action for what you need to achieve that. So you guys might be thinking to yourself, here's what I want. And then you say, well, this is what I'm willing to do. And you might need somebody to help you say, well, where does that line up? In that gap, there's tension. And I think a lot of times that's where the law of trade-offs really can kick in. So I want you to hear this. A sign of wisdom and maturity is when you can come to terms with the realization that your decisions cause your rewards and consequences. You are responsible for your life, and ultimately, success depends on the choices that you make. So that is John Maxwell actually quoting from another author, Dennis Whatley, that he says he loves. So in thinking about that, the first step is ownership and responsibility. And I've told you guys this before. When I hit the end of the month and have not hit a goal that I set, 99% of the time, I'm like, hey, that's on me. Like I didn't do the work. I didn't put in, like I didn't make the choices. I have to take ownership and responsibility for, okay, I needed to do X, Y, Z, and I just didn't get that done. And so taking responsibility for, hey, a lot of times things are out of my control, but I'm going to actually take ownership for the things that I can control. And sometimes, y'all, life feels crazy. Life feels like there's nothing that you can control. So being able to focus on these are the actions that I can control, it's helpful for your mental well-being in network marketing to really specifically concentrate, because I mean, I've had seasons where I'm just like refreshing my back office saying, where is everybody and why isn't anybody doing anything? Well, that's not something that I can directly control. Now, what can I control? I can make lists of people that I need to talk to that haven't ordered. I can reach out to level ones and say, hey, did you know you have a referral link? I'd love to help you get started sharing that. Like there are things that I can control and do. So taking ownership and responsibility is the first thing. But this quote literally changed me when I was pushing for Diamond. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is created by the changes that you are willing to make. When you want something that you've never had, you must do something that you've never done in order to get it. And it was at that moment that I decided I'm not going to watch TV in the evenings anymore. I'm going to start reading books about network marketing and personal growth and development, and really investing and learning. Is there a skill I need to get better at? How am I going to be a leader? And that law of trade-offs for me, I said it was a trade-off of entertainment for education, propelled me past Sapphire and Diamond, when I was willing to lay down that me time or that downtime or whatever that is. I could probably make a list in my life of, 20 or 30 major trade-offs that helped set me up for where I am in my life, that all were pivotal. So he also says, nothing creates a greater gap between successful and unsuccessful people than the choices that we make. Too often people make life difficult for themselves by making bad choices at intersections in their life, or they decline to make choices that they know they need to because of fear. It's important to remember that we don't always get what we want, but we will always get what we choose. Again, in parenting 18 and 20-year-old boys, this is something that I'm learning. The delayed gratification versus instant and now is something that is so frustrating. So there's a lot of people in this next generation coming up who want it quick, easy, now, fast. And I feel like that's a lot of the frustration with, you tell somebody you want them to give triplex 90 days before they even make an opinion about it, and they're like, 6 days in, they're gone. And so another quote from this book says, when it comes to growth and success, immediate gratification is almost always the enemy of growth. So people who want it fast, easy, quick now, a lot of times they're not going to stay and they're not going to grow. We can choose to pleasure ourselves and plateau, or delay gratification and grow. It's 100% our choice. So helping with getting that long-term vision is one of those big things that can be super helpful in this business. But just a few things to think about. What are the non-negotiables in your life? So I've had a few different turning points in my life where I had to make decisions. And I always said that I would filter my decisions and processing through God, family, plexus. And that's just like one basic structure. If it doesn't, go against a moral code or my, Christian convictions and beliefs, and God says it's okay, it filters through like all of my decision-making process. And then family. So if right now in a season, my family feels like that's a pretty high priority for, I've got a second kid graduating and going off to school, life, whatever. A lot of times you're going to get to these, should I say yes? Should I say no? Should I do the work? Should I not? And it filters through God, and then it goes through that family level. It's okay if you have priorities in your life that are non-negotiables and they involve the immediate people in your family. And then going through there, is it good? Is it not good? Is it beneficial for my family? Not, whatever, filters through. Okay, then we can make our plexus decisions. Now, here's what I will tell you. I've had seasons where we have family meetings and I say, hey guys, I'm pushing for emerald. Hey guys, I'm pushing for diamond. Hey guys, this is my monthly goal. In order for this to happen, I'm going to work X amount of time, hours this week. But when that happens, I will completely unplug and we'll go to XYZ, family dinner outing. When the kids were little, I did a lot of negotiating with family came first, but I also had huge business goals that I wanted to hit. And so there were trade-offs and priority management with, if I do this, then I can do that. And that worked very, very well. So if you're sitting here watching this now or listening, you're thinking to yourself, Sarah, I've got huge goals and I just don't know how I'm going to get it done. You have to decide, what are your non-negotiables in your life, things that you don't want to change or that you're not willing to sacrifice. And make sure that you're working through, okay, what can I trade off in the negotiable areas of my life? John Maxwell says, what trade do you need to make right now that you have been unwilling to make? Most people settle in and learn to live with a limitation or barrier that can be removed by making a trade. What is the next thing that you need to trade for, and what would you need to give up in order to get it? So I would love, if any of you want to, in the chat or, raise your hand and give some feedback. I think that's one of those things where those trade-offs can feel big or scary or confusing, or you don't know. But in the end, a lot of times it comes down to that. But this can be for any area of your life, with nutrition, with working out, with relationships. One of the things I had to learn, tell the family, your shareholders, that what your goals are, but also disconnect in the time that you're with them, for sure. So I, even now, like if I will, say that there's no iPad time or whatever, my 11-year-old will say, well, you're on your phone. And I will sit him down and I'll show him like my Plexus Go app, and I'll show him my back office. And I'll say, I want you to understand that I connect and communicate with people on Facebook. Like, I explain it to him. So he doesn't know if I'm playing a game, or what I'm doing on my phone. And so that's really helped him to understand we have what we do. And these are the things that we're able to do because this work is being done. And then he understood that, and it made it a little bit. Some of my big kids too, like, when I fuss at them to put their phones down, but I'm really big about asking for eye contact and quality time. But then helping them understand, listen, this is how I get work done and this is what we do. So is that helpful to anybody? with the law of trade-offs. I really think that, there's just sometimes there's an unrealistic expectation for what needs to happen in order to get a business up and running, hit a rank goal. And so sometimes some of those principles really can help you filter through. I've been knowing that I want this. So at the end of the month, for our power hour, get to work. That was all I had for you. Here's what, and this is what I've been very intentionally doing since I got home from Punta Cana. Who's ordering? Who hasn't ordered? I'm just line by line. Who are my level ones that have disappeared? And I am messaging, just there's no template. I cannot give you guys a template because it's literally personally checking in with where you are, where you've been, where I thought you were going, you're not moving, all of the things. And I've got like 5 or 6 really good conversations of people saying, yes, I'd like to try again. Yes, I'd like to make a post today. Yes, I remember I have my referral link. I've got 2 people. Yes, I remember I told you I was going to sign up last month and I haven't yet. So honestly, today and tomorrow is just, all systems go for starting and having those conversations, getting in your back office and figuring out where are you, where do you want to be? Because remember, we only have 1 extra day past the 28th. So once the 28th is said and done, it's pretty much is what it is. I am fascinated with what Trisha Rager, Marian Anderson, Jennifer Cobb, Demi Shaw, and Kinley Severns have going on right now. So if you guys are not following that team and the momentum that they have, it is infectious. Super, super exciting to watch that big things are happening. And there are teams in this company that are full steam ahead, ranking up emeralds, sapphires, diamonds, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels deep. So anything is possible. And I'm always looking. Yes, save 10 if they didn't order last month. Absolutely. And then we still have give 10 for new enrollments. We are moving into, we still have the February with the slim down with the giveaways that they're doing from corporate. So I triplex and reset, like that's where it's at for me. So that's what I lead with and start everybody with, unless they just want to say, I'll start the triplex and then do the reset when I'm ready. And then, leaders retreat is always super fun for super fun things that are mentioned that I will not be spilling the beans on because you guys know me. I mind my P's and Q's like nobody's business. But we do have some super fun things maybe in the works for March. So stay tuned because Leaders Retreat always is that, trampoline bounce off point to get us all the way to convention. And so we've got some good things there. So I'm going to stop talking. If anybody wants to throw something in, feel free to unmute. Otherwise, let's get in our back offices and rock and roll for the next few minutes. Okay, my friends, we're going to wrap it up and I will get this recording for you guys, but I want you to remember the law of trade-offs. And also maybe write down, spend some time journaling. What do I want? What am I willing to do to get it? And how that lines up. And then is there a trade-off that could help decrease that gap? And a lot of times there's wiggle room. Anytime I want a time block, I'm like, dang, there's that hour that I probably could be doing something productive and I'm wasting. So just take an inventory of priorities and goals and see if there is a trade-off that will help you get to that. And we will rock and roll with our goals together. So thank you guys for sharing in the Power Hour chat. Vanessa, I loved what you put. I'm going to go back and read that again. But Leaders Retreat always gives some really good reflection time. So thank you guys for jumping on, and we'll see you next week.